to The Art of Negotiation for Executives. So negotiation isn't just a skill, it's a strategic imperative. Whether you're leading a merger, securing a partnership, or navigating internal priorities, your ability to negotiate effectively can define the trajectory of your organization. My name is Stacy Gerke, and today I want to challenge how you think about negotiation, not just as a transactional tactic, but as a core leadership function. Consider Satya Nadella's leadership at Microsoft. When he took over as CEO, one of his first strategic moves was negotiating a partnership with Salesforce, who was once considered a rival. That negotiation wasn't just about tech integration, it was really about signaling a new collaborative culture, and it helped to redefine Microsoft's trajectory. But before we dive in deeper, let's take a moment to frame today's conversation. Negotiation is no longer just a skill that's reserved for deal makers. It's a strategic lever for executive leadership. Whether you're navigating a merger or aligning your cross-functional teams or even allocating resources in the competitive landscape, negotiation is a thread that ties strategy to execution. So here's a quick look at what we'll be covering today. First, we'll explore what makes negotiation a strategic imperative, not just a business tactic, but a leadership cornerstone. Next up, we'll examine the core competencies that executives need to negotiate effectively, from influence and authenticity to data-driven metric decision-making. Then we'll challenge the myth of the zero-sum game and show how negotiation, when it's done right, creates a win-win outcome that strengthens relationships and drives long-term value. Finally, we'll look at how negotiation is embedded in complex strategic functions such as stakeholder alignment, research allocation, and organizational health, and how leaders can then leverage it to navigate ambiguity and lead with clarity. Let's get started. Harvard Business Review reminds us, real leaderships negotiate. They don't delegate it, they own it. Because negotiation is where vision meets execution, and it's where influence becomes impact. Borbley and Caputo emphasize that negotiation at the organizational level is not just about individual deals. It's about aligning strategic goals across departments, cultures, and even continents. Executives must approach negotiation as a system, not as a silo. So what does this look like? This might look like strategic planning or prioritizing initiatives. Executives often negotiate which strategic initiatives receive priority based on a projected ROI or risk tolerance and an alignment with long-term goals. For example, during annual planning, leaders may negotiate between investing in innovation versus expanding their market share. Under strategic planning, we'll also see cross-functional alignment. Strategic planning requires negotiation across departments, marketing, operation, finance, to ensure that each unit's goals support the overall strategy. This includes negotiating timelines, KPIs, and resource dependencies. Now let's drill down a little further into stakeholder alignment. This looks like internal buy-in. Leaders negotiate with internal stakeholders, such as department heads or board members, to gain support for strategic initiatives and decisions. It may also involve adjusting scope or addressing concerns or offering incentives to align interests. And there's also external partnerships. Negotiation is key when aligning with external stakeholders like suppliers, regulators, joint venture partners. It ensures a mutual understanding of the goals, expectations, and everyone's shared risks. Finally, we see resource allocation. This might look like budget distribution. Executives negotiate how limited financial resources are allocated across competing projects, and this involves balancing short-term needs with long-term investments and often requires trade-offs and compromise. Underneath resource allocation, you also have talent deployment. Resource allocation includes negotiation, who leads key initiatives, how teams are staffed, and how performance is rewarded. This ensures that the right people are in the right roles to execute strategy effectively. Let's talk about the myth of the zero-sum game. Colbert Lewis, in his review, reframes negotiation as the art of the win-win deal. This isn't idealism, it's smart business. When both sides walk away with value, trust is built, relationships are strengthened, and future opportunities multiply. Researchers Cox and Dibling call this research across the table. A mindset shifts from adversarial to collaborative. And in today's interconnected world, collaboration is currency. For example, let's imagine a Fortune 500 company is negotiating a long-term supply contract. Instead of pushing for the lowest price, the executive team proposes shared forecasting tools and joint innovation labs. The supplier responds with better terms and exclusive access to new technologies. That's a win-win mindset in action. Let's introduce the concept of negotiation genuinely. For executives, this means showing up with authenticity, not just authority. When you're genuine, you build credibility, and credibility is influence. Executives who negotiate with integrity don't just win deals, they win loyalty. And in high-stakes environment, loyalty is leverage. Trask and DeGuire with Oxford's University Press explore complex negotiation strategies in law and business where stakes are high and variables are many. Executives must be fluent in navigating ambiguity, managing risk, and leveraging data. Additional resources even show how multi-agent negotiation protocols can optimize supplier selection. So what's the takeaway? Negotiation is evolving, and leaders, they must evolve with it. This in turn reminds us that negotiation's not just a skill, it's a managerial function. It's embedded in decision-making, conflict resolution, and organizational health. Let's take a look at a few ways we can measure negotiation from a metrics point of view, using key performance indicators, such as deal closure rates, which are usually measured in percentages, the average negotiation duration, usually measured in days, value captured versus the value offered, and finally the win-win index, which is based on mutual benefit scoring. So what does this mean for you as an executive? It means negotiation is no longer optional. It's essential. It's not just about closing deals, it's about opening doors. It's about shaping outcomes, building alliances, and driving sustainable success. Research has found a direct link between manager negotiation skills and overall organizational health. Additionally, it shows how negotiation drives decision-making in mergers and acquisitions, which are arguably the most complex and consequential deals in business. Warder's analysis of mergers and acquisition deals shows that the most successful integrations were not the ones with the best financial terms. They were the ones where leaders negotiated cultural alignment early and often. So I ask you, are you negotiating like a leader, or are you leaving value on the table? Thank you for attending.